Zoom recording. Just so you know, there will be a replay. So I'll send you the replay as well. Alrighty, who is ready to learn how to make a lot more money? Let me know in the comments. Yes. Okay, I might get you guys to mute yourselves if you don't mind, just so we keep it nice and clean. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to teach you how to make a lot more money, but there's a catch, right? There's always a catch, and the catch is that you are going to need to learn some new skills, and some of those skills may challenge you a little bit, but if you can learn what I'm going to teach you today, then you will be able to make a lot more money. It doesn't matter what you launch, you're going to be able to make sales. All right, so let's jump into it. So today is all about your roadmap to 500K. Some of you know me and have been in my world for a little while, but some of you don't. So I'm going to do a quick intro so you know who the hell I am and why you should listen to me. I've been coaching and mentoring since 1991. So I've been doing this a very, very long time. When coaching first became a thing, I was one of the first people that jumped on the bandwagon because I already had been coaching people in the martial arts space. My background is in fitness and martial arts going back all those years. So I'd been coaching and mentoring people already. And when life coaching and business coaching became a thing, it was right up my alley. So I jumped on it straight away. I had my first online business in 2003. So I've been online forever. I've created over multiple 6 to 7 figures online. I'm an author, a speaker, a podcaster. I love to run what I call a hybrid business model. So I do run in-person events and workshops, and I also run webinars like this. And all of my coaching is pretty much done online, other than when I do VIP days with people who are willing to fly to me and we spend the day together. I love the mix of online and business because I think, like most of us, I can get a little bit weird when I spend too much time on my own in my home office. And I'm not going to lie, I'm wearing my workout gear on the bottom because I've got to run straight to the gym after this. So it's good for me to get out of my office and actually be around human beings and just, not allow myself to get too weird. I'm ever evolving, ever expanding. So as I mentioned, I've been doing this a very long time. I've been online a very long time. And if I was still doing the same things that I did back in 1991 today, I'd be bored out of my brain. I also wouldn't have grown. So I'm always evolving and I'm ever expanding. I believe in being a specialist and mastering the specialty that we're in. I'm not a jack of all trades. The worst thing that somebody did a little while ago was they introduced me as a business/life coach. I'm like, I'm not a slash anything. I'm a business coach and I specialize in marketing and sales and content and offer creation in the high-end space. And I sell mostly high ticket offers. I've got offers up to 110K US dollars. So I've been in the high ticket space, I would say, since I launched my first high ticket group offer in 2012. That was a $10,000 coaching offer back then. So I have been in the high ticket space for a while now. How I work is when I'm working with my clients, whether it's in group programs or whether it's one-on-one, the first thing that we do is create a vision. My people need to know what they want to achieve and what that looks like, because otherwise we're flying a little bit blind. So vision is very important, but then we have to layer that with strategy. You can have the vision, but how are we going to get there? And it's not wishy-washy pie in the sky. There's actually legitimate strategies based on your market, based on you, based on the thing you're selling. All of those different things need to be considered so that we can create a strategy that's going to get you where you want to go. I also believe mindset's important. Like, let's be honest, everything that you need to be super successful right now, you can find on YouTube, no doubt, right? You can cobble together your own strategy and you can learn for free. That's essentially the reality of the world that we live in now, right? But you can have the vision and you can have the strategy, but the mindset is what's going to keep us stuck. It's what's going to keep us going forward with the handbrake on. It's going to be the thing that gets in our way. Our mindset is going to be what holds us back. So whenever I'm working with my clients, we do work on the mindset stuff. I believe in embodiment. I believe in, if we are going for a certain vision, we need to become a more elevated, different version to who we are now to achieve that thing. And so we've got to embody that. And it takes practice to be able to get into that state and maintain it. And of course, using our mindset and managing our minds and coaching ourselves helps us to do all of that stuff. So vision, strategy, mindset, and embodiment. I also believe in working with clients who are ready to master their craft. They're not jumping from idea to idea. They might have different ideas for products, but at their core, they know who they are, they know what they do, they know the problem that they solve and how they solve it, and they just develop more and more mastery, whether it's in delivering products, whether it's mastery around how they market it, whether it's mastery around how they sell it. But we develop systems that we master. We're not jumping from thing to thing. And the other thing that I bring is experience. As I said, I've been working in this space and something like it for probably, it's been 30 years. And I have a lot of experience. There's not a lot that I haven't seen. There's not a lot that I haven't done. There's not a lot that I haven't coached my clients through. And so you will probably see over the course of this masterclass and any conversation that we have, there's a depth of experience and wisdom that goes back a very, very long way. You can't buy that. And one of the things that I encourage with my clients is independence. So what I mean by that is I want my clients to be able to create success for themselves independently. That's my job, to teach them how to do that. So if you want to launch a mastermind, you know how to launch it and fill it. If you want to launch something else, you know how to do that. So the opposite of independence is where we're relying on other people, right? So especially in the beginning, it's really tempting to want to collaborate with different people, or we're waiting for someone to save us, or we're waiting for some sort of magic bullet or something that's going to help us take a shortcut to success by piggybacking off the back of somebody else. I want you to be independently successful. I want you to know how to create success on your own. I want you to know how to develop those strategies so that if you want to launch something, you know how to launch it, you know how to get your Facebook ads up and running, you know how to get leads happening, you know how to get sales happening. You're not waiting for anybody else. You get to do it yourself. You get to pull the trigger on that stuff. Super important. One thing that I forgot to say in the beginning is if you have questions for me at any time, you can pop them into the chat and I will get to them. Alrighty. Who I work with big thinkers. So the people that I work with they're not side hustlers. They're not dabbling in something. They've got a big vision that they want to bring to life. My people are hustlers. So there's been this kind of swing for a while, you know, the 4-week work week people and the people that want to be chillpreneurs and things like that. My people know there's a season of hustle, especially when they're trying to get things moving or taking things to a next level, and they thrive in the hustle. I'm a hustler. I have, over the years, created ways to create more space for myself, and I get bored. I don't feel stimulated enough. I need to have, you know, some level of hustle in my week and in my days. And for me, I hustle getting my content up and, you know, things like that. I love working. I love the idea of it. I love being in it. I love rolling my sleeves up and creating offers and creating marketing strategies and doing the things that just they make me happy. It's like it's like my hobby. I know I need to get more hobbies and I'm working on it, but I am a hustler and I really love it. And the people that I work with, they love to hustle as well. I'm not talking about burnout 24/7 or anything like that, but they do love to hustle. They would say, you know, I'm a hustler. And my people are impact seekers. They're not here to just make money. They're here because they want to create impact. They want their corner of the internet to be the go-to place. They want to change lives in some way. They're not just, you know, my people are not the sort of people that are going to, and there are people like this, who are going to go to Fiverr or someone like that and have somebody write blog posts for them or create content for them. They're not those types of people. They're creators. They have a message that they want to share. They believe their message is important. They believe it has impact, and they're creating this themselves. They're not outsourcing that to other people because that's who they are at their core. Their message is they're there to share that message. And my people, they're masters at their craft, they're specialists. They don't want to be, they're not multi-passionate entrepreneurs who are trying to do 27 different things at once. They want to be the go-to person in their area, and they want to get better and better and better at what they do. They're specialists in their field, and they're driven, they're ambitious, and they're hungry, and they're confident people. So I find it really challenging to work with people who don't have confidence, and they're waiting for, you know, they're waiting and they're waiting and they're waiting. I am, you know, I have those clients and I challenge them, but you need to bring the confidence. There are many things that I can do for my clients. I can give them the strategy, I can help them with the vision, I can support them along the way, but I can't give them the confidence to show up how they need to show up. I can make sure that the ducks are in a row so that I'm setting them up to be confident, but confidence is an inside job, and you need to be able to find that within yourself. And everybody has moments of crisis with their confidence. That's, you know, nobody's confident 100% of the time. But my people know that they're going to be successful. They know that what they have is valuable. Maybe it hasn't all come together yet, but they know what they know in their knower. And they might have these moments where they second guess and question, but the confidence, the underlying confidence is always there. All right, so they're the people that I work with. And just to give you a quick idea of some of the results that I create and why I think they're so special is it's not just about revenue generation. If you have a look at these slides, you can see revenue generation is something that I do in my sleep, like creating big revenue days, big revenue weeks, creating consistency and high ticket revenue is something that I do on repeat. But the thing that I think I do well, and is the reason that this stuff happens, is we create change in the way that people go about things. My jam is to simplify things, make them a lot simpler than they are right now, so that we can scale them, so that we can find new ways. And so a lot of my clients will come to me running around the internet trying to find clients. And when they come to me and they're like, I'm just trying to find clients, I'm doing everything I can to try and find clients, I'm like, that's the problem. We need to set it up so that your clients find you. You shouldn't be running around the internet trying to find clients. That's not your job. Your job is to show up and be powerful and showcase what you do in a really powerful way. And then we create systems so that people find you. Isn't that a much easier way of doing life and business? Doesn't that feel so much better than every day or every week or every month thinking, where is my next client going to come from? Where am I going to find my next client? We don't find clients. We just set it up so that our clients find us. And that's when we get to do what we really want to do, which is work with our clients as opposed to be marketing gurus. All right. So that's all of that. Let's talk about impact and income. So entrepreneurs are typically here to make a dent in the universe, right? They have a strong desire for creating impact, and they want to change their corner of the internet for the better. And they want to make money, lots of it. They're not apologetic about money. So I'm going to show you how you can become more effective at both by creating a system for acquiring the right audience, leads, and sales. That's what the roadmap to 500K is all about. Whoops. So today is about how to use my 500K sales system to increase your revenue to 500K and beyond. Now, 500K is really just like it's a nominal amount, right? It could be $1 million for you. It could be 6 figures for you. It could be 5 figures for you. The pathway is the same. The difference is going to be on the level of scale, right? And your price points and things like that. The system works for any number, but I had to pick a number for the marketing. Okay. And most people are stuck at 6 figures or multiple 6 figures, and they can be stuck there for a long, long time. And it's when you start to implement these systems that things start to really take off. But the sooner you do it, if you're stuck at 5 figures now and you want to get to 6 figures, if you implement this stuff, it will get you there. All right. So the first thing that I want you to think about, in my live workshop, we had time to actually sit down and do this, and I'm not going to have time to do this today, But this is something that you can come back to. You're going to get the replay, so you'll be able to come back and look at this slide. But I want you to think about how you want your business to be. What does a perfect day look like? Now, you might have done this to death, right? We've all done some version of this thing to death. But I want you to go through your perfect day with this filter in mind. What do you hate doing right now? Like, we're not going to keep doing that. What are you putting up with right now? Is there a type of client that you're putting up with? Have you got yourself priced at a point that you're just putting up with? What changes would you make if you could wake up tomorrow and start your day knowing your business is exactly how you want it to be? What do you want to stop doing? What do you want to start doing? And this is, I say fuck, so I'm sorry if you're offended, but anything that isn't a fuck yes is an absolute no. So any of those things that you are dealing with right now that don't feel like they're a good fit, you can change that at any time. You don't need to continue doing what you've been doing. You can pivot in a nanosecond. And that's what's a beautiful thing about being a solopreneur, as most of us are. We don't have to consult a board of directors before we make changes. We can just make a decision and then we can execute the changes that we want to make. And I want to just remind you that your business can be any way that you want it to be. Imagine your business as a work of art and you have the paintbrush. You get to paint exactly what you want. You get to create it to be exactly what you want it to be. And when you do that, when you forget about the rules, and some examples of this that might be useful for you is, I remember when I was in the early days of coaching, if somebody wanted to book a call with me at 5 o'clock on a Friday afternoon, sure. If they wanted to book a call at Monday morning at, I don't know, 6:30 in the morning, sure. And I used to just bend to the will of my clients. And it wasn't in my brain to think, oh, I can actually schedule days where I coach and days where I don't coach. And I can't remember, it's been a decade or more now. I coach on Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's it. And I have a small window. I don't work with a lot of one-on-one clients. My group calls are all on Thursdays, and a couple of clients on Thursday, some clients on Tuesday, and that's me in the week. And I didn't know that I could do that. I just thought I had to coach when people needed me to coach. But when I started to set my hours, what I got to see is I never lost a client in all of that time because I set hours. Everybody just made themselves fit into the window. So maybe right now you're coaching clients at time zones you don't want to. So I made a decision, a few years ago now, that I don't market to the UK because my calls are usually around this time during the day, my group calls. And if you're in the UK, it's something like, I don't know, 11 o'clock at night or something like that. I don't market to the UK because I don't want to have to work UK hours. I don't want to have to try and make that fit. I market to the parts of the US where my calls are going to make sense. And so that's just one way of realizing that you can do it your way, and there are ways to create that, especially in this online space. I travel, I take my laptop, I work. I don't feel the need to take a break or take a holiday or anything like that because my calls are really, they're a fun part of my day. And I've been doing my coaching and my calls on Tuesdays and Thursdays for so long that it's now just second nature to work around that stuff. Yes, there are times when I do take a time off and we, my clients are always really super accommodating for that. So that's just one element, right? But you get to create this any way you want to. And if you're doing things that you don't like, if you're putting up with things, I want to encourage you to think about shaking the tree, getting rid of anything that doesn't feel good, because you don't have to continue doing things that way. All right, and know what that vision looks like. If setting revenue goals works for you, do that. If setting the amount of clients that you want to work with works for you, do that. Whatever it is, but think about how you want your business to feel more than anything else, because we get to create that feeling with the way that we set up our business. All righty. All right, now we're going to get to the funnel stuff. Now, hands up, let me know in the comments just with a yes or a no. Do you have a funnel right now that's converting for you? Yes or no? Let's look at funnels 101. Now, if you freak out about funnels and it feels too hard. You've probably seen the Frank Kern model where it's like 700 tentacles going off and 100 million upsells. That's not how I do funnels. Yes, but it's slow. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay. So it is, yes, but it's not converting. Okay, good, 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 good. I love that you're having a crack at it. This is amazing. All right, so funnels, it's really just a numbers game, right? The more leads you have, the more sales you'll achieve. The better you become with each step, the bigger and faster you'll grow. And you get to manage that, right? If you're growing too fast, pardon me, you just get to spend less every day on your ads and you slow it down. So if you look at that first image, the leads is like all the people, right? You're going to have, let's just say 100 leads come through, right? Then the next part is the conversion process. So it's like a webinar like this, or it's an in-person event, or it's a video series, or whatever. It could be a strategy call, right? The conversion process is going to be different for everybody. But however many leads come in, say that's 100, you're not going to have many that actually go through that conversion process, right? People are going to drop off. They're going to say they're going to come back to it and they don't, and things like that. So the amount of leads that you need to actually get people to go through the conversion process is underestimated by a lot of people. We need a lot more leads than people typically think. And then this conversion process, people will go through the conversion process and then you'll end up with a sale. Now, this is worst case scenario, right? You've got 100 leads. You've got, what do we got there? 6, 7 people go through the conversion process and you end up with one sale. I'm just throwing those numbers out there. We don't know until we start to test it. So Waylon and Bianca, let me know, have you had 100 people go through your funnel yet? Let me know, yes or no. So until you're working in volumes of hundreds, like you don't really know if it's working or not. And a lot of people will quit before that. And I'm not saying, you launch something and straight away you start to spend a lot of money and get it happening, because conversions, no, probably 60. Okay. Any conversions, Bianca? Sorry. So Waylon is saying he's had probably 60. So, yeah, let me know. Have you had sales calls? Like, what's the conversion process, and have sales come through? All right. So the numbers are kind of arbitrary, I guess, but we know that we need to start with a lot more leads, so that when we get people through this conversion process, there's only going to be a percentage that go through that process. And then there's going to be a much smaller percentage from there that turn into sales. Okay. But the cheaper we get our leads and the more appealing our lead magnet is, the better quality those leads are going to be. It means that this conversion process number can be bigger. There you go. Like, I've had 2 conversions, 1 potential big sale pending. Okay, cool. So that's not a bad outcome, because already at 60, let's just call it 3 sales, right? Let's just say 3 sales. That's for every 20 leads, you're getting a sale. That's pretty good. But most people don't have reference for what's good and what isn't good, right? So yeah, that's looking pretty good to me. And the more you refine it, probably the better it's going to get. So yeah, I just want you to know that we start with a lot of leads, and there's many things that we can do to, okay, cool. There's many things that we can do to make the lead cost lower and to make the leads a better fit, all those sorts of things, so that more people move through that conversion process, more of the right people, so that we end up with more sales on the end, right? It is just a numbers game. Bianca said, I want to bump up my ad spend and fine tune my messaging potentially. I think your messaging's bang on. I don't think it's bad. Can you tell me how many people you've had through your funnel, Bianca? All right, moving on. So the core funnels that I've got running right now is I've just actually pulled the pin on it because I ran the event on Tuesday. So it's an in-person workshop funnel where I run this same content, but I have access to a private business club. So I just throw in these live workshops. It's easy for me to do. It doesn't cost me anything. but I ran an in-person workshop. It cost me $143 to fill the room, and I did $12,000 in sales. That's just one part of the funnel, right? That's a good return on investment. I have this online masterclass funnel. So this is happening. People are coming through this funnel. You guys are here. We're also going to have a replay that, you know, the other people are going to get to see. And then I have an offer for what's called a reach campaign, paid reach campaign, and that's running in the background. And if I am, whatever I'm selling these days, this is the way that I'm doing it because it works for me. So next month, for example, I might sell my Coach on Stage Authority Speaker program again. So I would run an in-person workshop on that. I would run an online masterclass on the same content. I would create a $7 offer to get selling. That's like a small masterclass or a checklist about an event or something like that. I'm still playing around with what that will be. And they will all combine together to create sales for my Coach on Stage mastermind, right? So it doesn't matter what I'm selling. This is what's working for me. Now, I'm not saying you need to do an in-person workshop funnel, not saying that, but you might decide that you want to. You might decide that you want to do an online masterclass funnel. It depends on what you're selling and your audience and all those things. So it's like everybody does this. It's not one size fits all. We would have to spend some time thinking about what that would be for you. But this is what's working very, very, very well for me right now. And the 3 traffic campaigns that I always have running are reach campaigns. So Bianca, I know, has done my reach campaign and she's got her audience building, which I love. So I run a reach campaign in the background and I spend about $5 Australian a day, and it puts me in front of between 4,000 and 5,000 new people every day. So when I'm running that reach campaign, it's exposing my brand to new people, but it's also warming an audience so that when I go to run my lead campaigns, the cost comes down. So my conversion rate on my in-person event was over 60%. And I had a 66.7% show up rate. It was crazy good. And then you can see here, this is a different lead campaign, but by testing different audiences and things like that, my leads would cost anywhere between $10.88 and $1.14. So obviously I turned this one off because this one was working really well and we got to scale it. But I'm always testing different audiences against other audiences to see. So just to give you a bit of a quick idea about that. So I was spending about $20, $30, $40 a day to this masterclass, and I was getting about 10 to 12 people registering every day. Yesterday, I thought, oh, it's the last day. I'm going to boost it up to 100 and I'm going to turn off that other audience that wasn't working so well. Let's see if we can get that working. I spent $100 and not one lead came in. So I shouldn't have touched what was already working really, really well. I just thought, yeah, let's go in and do that. So sometimes it's like, yeah, sometimes I don't follow my own rules, but yeah, it's been working very, very well because the audience is already warmed. The audience that are seeing me, seeing this webinar masterclass campaign come through their newsfeed, they'd already seen me because my reach campaign was doing that job. And the other thing that I do is run a sales campaign. So this was a really good one. This was my Coach on Stage product. It was $97 US. And I got the sales down to $4 Australian. So that was converting really well. I did pull it because I don't want that content out there. It's a high ticket offer and I just decided I don't want people buying that for $97. But it had I'm going to sell something else and I'm going to make it a cheaper price point where I don't actually give away the farm. So yeah, sales campaigns work. So I've got a reach campaign going, I've got a lead campaign going, and I've got a sales campaign going. The sales product is always moving people into whatever it is that I'm selling at the time. I'm going to talk sales cycles and things like that in a minute, just to give you an idea of how I do it. So this is the 500K sales system. And ultimately, the thing that's going to allow you to scale to 500K and beyond is sales, right? We need sales. You don't need to be a better coach. You don't need more coaching skills. You don't need anything like that. What you need is a sales system, a sales and marketing system. I did a reel, I think it was yesterday, and the reel was along the lines of upskilling your coaching skills isn't going to solve your not enough clients problem. Too many people take it personally when people aren't buying their stuff, and they feel like it's because they need to learn something new. It's not that, it's a marketing problem. And so we need these systems in place if we actually want to have clients and actually make sales. So we look at our offer suite, right? This is the complete sales system. We look at the offer suite and we start from creating something that is a very easy yes, right? So it could be a $7 thing, whatever it is. We want to make the first yes easy, because we know statistically when somebody becomes a client, when somebody pays for something, then they are already more predisposed to buy the next thing and the next thing. All right. If they invest with you, if they pull out their credit card and spend money, even if it's a low risk offer, there's a greater chance of them buying more things from you. So we want to make that first item an easy yes, like a $7 masterclass or tutorial or something like that, all the way through to the high ticket offers, because ultimately we want everyone, or not everyone, in our highest ticket offer, but ultimately that's where we want to move enough people until we're at capacity, right? So whatever we need to do along the way to move people through that to be able to enroll in our highest ticket item, that's the name of the game, right? So if we create a $7 offer, it's not just some random idea that we plucked out our butt because it seems like a good idea. It's got to be working towards moving people towards the offer that we actually want them in. And so then we have, so you've got your offers and then you've got your funnel. So this is where we get to automate our leads and our, our sales, whether it's a $7 sale, but we're automating that lead process. And then we have to have our sales process. And that's going to depend on the offers and the price point. So what I mean by that is, say I am selling my high ticket mastermind. Not many people are going to go from a $7 product to a $30,000 mastermind in the blink of an eye. I mean, it happens. It definitely does happen. I've had it happen enough times to know that it does happen. But most people, before they invest that amount, especially if we're talking coldish traffic, they're going to need more than just a sales page. So that might mean that you need to run a webinar where everybody gets to come on a call and you get to talk about the program. It might mean that you do one-on-one, discovery calls or whatever it is. Again, it's going to be different for everybody. I like doing calls with people that I'm going to be working with over a period of time, because I want to know that I'm working with people that are a really good fit for me. So your sales process could be different. And say you move people from a $7 offer to a $300 DIY program, you're not going to get on a call for that. You're going to automate your sales process so that people sign themselves up, they access the program, and away they go. So each step is going to be different and bespoke to you. And then you've got your traffic campaign. So when you're selling something, so many coaches aren't filling their programs and they're wondering why it's not happening, but they don't have an audience. They don't have a list. They have a very small following and they're wondering why that person over there is really successful in selling all of these things and they're not. And typically it's because they just don't have the reach. They don't have the audience. They don't have the people in their world. They don't have enough people to say yes. And so if you've got a great product and you've got a great way of selling that product, then you want to point traffic to that so that you can speed up the process. You can amplify the results. And then, of course, your content plan. So one of the things that I did a few months ago is I decided that I wasn't doing content anymore because it sucked and it was wasting my time and nobody looked at it anyway. And I'm just going to rely on traffic. And traffic definitely works. Like the paid traffic campaigns work on their own, but they work better when there's content. Because if you go through somebody's funnel, right, you land on somebody's funnel, you're going to go to their website, right? and then you're going to go to their social, or the other way. You're going to go to their social, and then you're going to track back to their website from the socials. And so if you do that, you want to make sure that there's content there that's supporting it. And so the way that I work is, if you go and you have a look at my Instagram profile right now, you'll see everything that I've been talking about for the last few weeks has been about traffic and leveraging paid traffic, because I'm selling a program that's about how to leverage paid traffic. And so the content needs to be there, and it just supports everything else. So you've got your offer that you feel good about, you've got a way of selling the offer that you feel good about, you've got ads running to create, to send traffic to the lead magnet or whatever it is. And then you've got content that is going across your socials that is in alignment with whatever it is that you're selling. It's a whole ecosystem of sales and marketing that we can automate and scale. And so next month, there's going to be a change in theme on my Instagram, because I'm going to be selling something different. And the content will be slightly different because I'm, marketing to that particular product. My $7 offer is going to be different to what it is now. It all gets to change, but the system's the same. Does that make sense? Whoa, I'm seeing there's comments. I'm going to bump up my announcement. Okay, cool. All righty. So let's have a look at an example 500K offer map focusing on a $7 masterclass, right? So you start here and you've got your free content, right? Your free content is going out there. It doesn't have to be every day, but you want to be posting a couple of times a week, really good quality content, a couple of times a week, at least 2-3 times a week. And then you would have something like your $7 masterclass. So this masterclass that I'm running now, I'm going to run it. I've already set it up so that all I've got to do after I finish this call is upload the recording. The replay page is ready to go. All the emails are plugged in and everything like that. And that's going to go out to everybody that's registered for the masterclass. But I've also got an ads campaign ready to go where they get to access this as an on-demand masterclass. And it'll be free this time around, but next time I launch this program, it'll be a $7 paid masterclass. So I won't have to do, or I won't do a live one. Maybe, I'll see. So you could have your free content and your $7 masterclass, and you could have, if you wanted to, you don't have to, you might have a $300 DIY program or a value call. So it might be something like, they've signed up for the masterclass. So for example, my Reach masterclass, you would sign up for the $7 masterclass, and then you'd be offered a strategy call to help you make this better for $297, which is an upsell call to a group program. And for some people, it'll be a group program. For other people, it'll be private mentoring or whatever is the right fit for them. You can go from $7 to your highest ticket item. If you've got a really good sales process, so you might have the $7 masterclass. Hey, do you want to book a free call with me so that we can talk about this, and then you can upsell them. You don't have to have all of these price points, and you can bypass any of them. But this is an example of something that is standard and works really well. So you've got your content, you've got your $7 masterclass, you've got your $300 upsell. I like calls over anything else because you're with the person, you have an opportunity to have these, a conversation with them about what they need, charging for them. I charge for them. You might want to charge for them, or you might decide you feel better if you don't charge for them, or you might charge $27. You can play around with all of these things. And this is where you move them into the actual offer. All right. And it could be a group offer. It could be a taster offer. You might have a package that's $50,000 or $5,000, and that's your ultimate package, but they might not have that budget. So you've got something that I call a downsell that you can sell them into there. It seems like a lot, right? But when you get used to building this out and you've got offers that you create, so ideally, right, what you want to have, and what I'm currently building right now, I've got my Coach on Stage funnel. I'm going to make some tweaks with that. That's a program that I will run and sell this year. The roadmap to 500K is also a program that I'm running. We start on Monday. I'm going to talk more about that. But we are, so I'm building out this system so that this will run at least once a year. The Coach on Stage will run once a year. I'm working on the 4 to 5 products that I want to run once or twice a year. And I'm building out my system so that I've just got to turn them on and they become more and more automated. And so the more you do this, you're going to know, okay, what worked last time really well for me was, the content was great. I did a $7 paid live masterclass. That worked really well. I moved people into a call and then I sold them into my high ticket mastermind, for example. That worked really well for me. So my next program that I go to launch, I'm going to do exactly the same thing. Obviously, just the content changes. Is that clear, guys? Am I overwhelming you? Let me know if you need me to explain anything to you or if it's clear for you. But what I want you to know about, like, especially the beginning stages, is we want to make it easy to get the first yes, because from there you really can take it anywhere, especially if you treat leads like people and not just nameless, faceless emails in your CRM, right? Every single person that opts in is valuable. Every single one of them is super, super valuable. Just to give you I'm trying to move things. Yeah. And you can bypass any of these, as I mentioned. So I want to just take you back to leads again. And I want you to know that you don't need to, I did say in the beginning, the more leads we have, the more conversions process people we have go through that, and then the more sales we have. That is true. But you don't need a lot of leads to have a 5-figure day. As I said, when I ran my in-person workshop, it cost me $143 to sell it, to fill the room. I had 9 people in the room and I did 12,000 in sales. So I think I had 15 people register and 10 actually showed up, or 1 turned up really late. But the show up rate was 67.7%, which is crazy, right? And so to get 9 people in a room and it cost me $143, I could do $12,000 in sales. So it doesn't have to be about volume, because it depends on the conversion process, right? I have run events where I have big events where I have a lot of people in the room. They cost a lot more to run and they take a lot more energy to organize. I love running my workshops at the moment just because I go into my private business club. It's very easy. Like the women there do an amazing job welcoming everybody in. I've just got to open my laptop. I know how to hook it up. It's very easy for me to do a 2-hour in-person workshop these days. And so I know that I don't need a lot of leads to have a 5-figure day. I know I don't need to spend a lot of money. So it's about maximizing that. And that's going to depend on your sales process, that conversion process. Like, what is the way that you want to convert people? What is the way that you know is the best way for you to convert? And you might only need 20 leads. I mean, Wayland has already shown that. He only needs 20 leads to get 1 sale. He knows for every 100 leads, he's going to get 5 sales. So is there enough profit in it? Is the lead cost too high to make it profitable? I don't know. So obviously there could be some tweaking that goes in there, because if it costs you $1,000 to get 100 leads and you're selling a $100 product, that's not good. The math ain't nothing. So we're going to make sure that, all of those things are working beautifully so that there is a really good return on investment. But we don't need a lot of leads to make a lot of money. All right, so that's the offer map. Now I want to show you basically what a simple funnel map looks like. So we keep our funnels simple and we do them well. I'm just trying to move myself. Yeah, we don't want to overcomplicate or bloat our funnel. So I think we're all over the funnel where we go, oh, I'll take the $7 product. And then it's like, oh, what about this? Buy this one. And then this next thing and this next thing and this next thing. And we're all over it, right? I will buy up to the second thing and then I'm done. And then I also typically, once I've done that, I don't go back and look at it, because it's like, oh, they've just totally devalued the thing that they were selling in the first place or whatever. Or I'll have a look if I'm curious. So we don't want to bloat it. We want to make sure that each step in the funnel is considered and done really well. So we're not just like trying to wring out as much money as we can from each thing. Wylan's saying 3 months in from zero. I think I'm just being hard on myself, ambitious human services industry. Yeah. Sometimes we just don't have the context or we don't have the context to know that something's actually working well for us. I know that was an issue that I had years ago. I remember like, oh, I only got 50 people signed up to that program. And, other people had 1,000 people. Like 50 people signing up to any program that I've got going right now would be amazing, but I don't, yeah, I didn't know that at the time. I didn't know that 50 was a good number. It just felt like I didn't get as good a result as that person over there. So I stopped looking at anybody else now, and I run my traffic campaigns based on the capacity that I want. I don't want 50 people in my group programs because I can't get to everybody. I can't see their business. I can't get my eyes on their business and make sure that things are being done right, like properly, So for me, I like smaller, more intimate groups because I like seeing what's actually happening. I like to see people actually implementing the work and making the results. And you get to make that decision for yourself as well. You might be the person that wants 1,000 people in their program. Good luck to you. If that's what you want to do it. Like if that's what floats your boat, that's amazing. But if you don't, if you're like me, if you prefer to keep things small so that because quality control is really important to you, then we've got to price accordingly, right? So that if we're doing a program with 10 people in it, it's worth our while, obviously. Yeah, so a lot of those things come into it, but I like to make sure things are very simple and done very well so that each step is considered and I'm not just throwing 100 freaking things in the funnel because that's what you're supposed to do. Doesn't work for me. I don't like it. I don't buy that way. So I just create things the way that I like to buy and be treated. All right, so you've got your $7 sitch, right? Then what do we need? We need an offer page. Now, I'm not going to be selling you ClickFunnels or any of those things. I've got a WordPress website and I use Aweber as my CRM. I've been using it for 15 years. I ain't changing anything. It does what I need it to do. I have to do some things manually, don't care. I have cobbled together stuff over the years into a system that makes people like, why are you doing it like this? Because it works. I'm not going to invest in something like ClickFunnels. I don't need it. What I've got works. So I'm not saying you need to go and invest in some different, software to make this work. You work with what you've got. And so the first step is the offer page, right? Buy my $7 thing, your sales page. From there, you need the content page, right? So the content page is, hey, here's that thing that you just bought. And on that page, you're going to have an upsell, right? Whether it's, buy this call for $500 and we'll map out your strategy together, or buy this call for $27 and I'm going to help you make sense of the audit that you just did, or whatever it is, right? So you've got your offer page, you've got your content page. On your content page is your upsell. And in between those two things is your nurture sequence, right? So people come in and you're nurturing them as they go along and you're encouraging them to do the upsell thing. Now, if they don't buy that thing, we're not going to rock in the fetal position and cry. It just means that they don't need it, or they can't afford it, or it's not the right time for them. But they like you enough to have signed up and to go through this process, right? So what we do is we nurture, and when we realize they're not going to buy that, that's okay. We make them another offer. We move them into our main list and they get to see the next offer. Play the long game. I have had people that have come to me and invested at the highest level after following me, I'm not even kidding, for 13 years, and I didn't even know they existed. And they watched my prices go from, I think I remember in 2017 was when I did a big jump, when I put my private coaching from 3,000 US a month to 5,000 US a month. Now it's 15,000 US a month for 4 weeks. So they watched the prices go up and up and up and up, but they weren't ready. They didn't have the funds to do it back then. And even though my prices went up, they were implementing the stuff that I was giving them for free and things like that. And then, you know, they pulled the trigger. So you're going to have people who have maybe been in your world for a while, and it doesn't mean that they're not going to ever buy anything. Or if they go through your funnel and they haven't bought anything yet, that doesn't mean that they don't want to work with you or they won't buy anything. It just means the timing isn't right. And another thing that people get disillusioned about is when people opt in for the funnel product and then they opt straight out again. I do that. I'm not on anybody's list. I don't have time for that. But I know that if I want to buy it, I know where to go. I save it in my shortcuts or whatever it is, right? You know, on Google Chrome, you can have folders. I've got a whole folder of things that I'll go back to at some point when the time's right. So even if somebody opts in and then they opt out, doesn't mean that they're lost. It means that they don't want to be on your list. So don't make things mean things that they don't mean. We all take things so personally and we feel like we're annoying people when we email them. I don't know where all of that stuff comes from, our conditioning, our childhood or whatever, but we've got to get over that and just realize that if people are on our list and they're staying on our list and you're emailing them, you feel like you're emailing them too much, well, that's for them to decide. And if they don't want to be part of it because there's too much, they'll unsubscribe. And nobody dies when that happens. And it doesn't mean that they won't buy from you again. It's just that, you know, they don't want to receive the emails. So that's why, though, we want to have our email. We want to do the very best job that we can for the content that we create, right? So if we're creating a $7 masterclass, you really want that $7 masterclass to deliver so much value that they don't want to throw it away. They want to save it. They want to keep coming back to it, or it's doing the job of converting. So my Reach Masterclass, as I say, it's $7. It teaches you how to create a reach campaign so that you can expose your business to highly targeted people for a couple of dollars a day. And you get to grow that audience, warm that audience, and then you get to market to it later on, and your leads and your lead campaigns are a lot more effective, and your sales campaigns are a lot more effective. Cheaper leads, better leads, all that stuff. It's $7. It moves the needle on something. It gives them the strategy, and it also gives them the tutorial on the ads dashboard. Click here, do this, make sure you do that next. So it's really valuable. And I know that people are going to, there's two things, right? If they can get in there and create a reach campaign, I know that they're not afraid to get into the ads dashboard, roll their sleeves up and do what they need to do to make that happen, right? So that's really exciting to me. They're the right type of people, but it's also putting them in the list, and they're going to be a good candidate for the program that I'm going to tell you about at the end, right? Anyway, so we have our offer page, we have our content page, we have our nurture sequence, we have our upsell. So the upsell is going to be in the nurture sequence. It's also going to be on the content page. And then when you've exhausted that, it's like the next offer. You get to offer them the next offer if they're still there. All right. I'm going to check my why $7 and not free. It can be free. It just, if somebody pays for something, they pay attention. And I'm not giving that Reach Masterclass away for nothing. I should be charging $97 for it, but I want lots of sales. I want volume. I want a lot of people going through that masterclass because they're going to be the right type of people for my program. And if I charge $97 for it, the sales are going to be less. And Kaylee, I'll give you another example. So when I was running ads to my in-person workshop, which is exactly the same as this, I was going to charge $197 for it. I tested that. I spent something like $700 and still hadn't made a sale. I launched it as a free event. I spent, I think, $20 and I had 6 people signed up within the first hour. So it's like, I just know that so you're asking me $7 or free. your price point that values what you do is extremely important. Yeah, okay, this is an awesome, juicy conversation. And this is why we're going to have the conversation. So just for the replay people, Kaylee has said, why $7 and not free? And Wayland has said, I was told early on that creating your price point that values what you do is extremely important. Yes, 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 100%. And I'm a high ticket coach, right? But I'm also conscious that things have shifted. So if you think pre-2020, pre-lockdown, everybody being at home on their computer and suddenly deciding they wanted to side hustle and start a new business and all the rest of it, the free content was still doing what a $7 offer is now doing. Now, the $7 is a way to get people saying yes for the first time and handing over their credit card. And because they paid, they're going to pay attention. How many freebies have you downloaded that you never look at? Now, also think about the psychology. If I'm somebody and it's like, okay, so what is the problem? If you can isolate the problem. So, okay, so the problem that I have right now is I like my content, I like my offers, I just don't have enough eyes on my business. I need to find a way to get more reach. And you stumble across my reach campaign workshop. You're going to pay $7 because it's going to plug a hole in your knowledge gap. It's going to solve an immediate problem for you. And then if you get in there and you're wowed, you're not going to care whether you paid $700 or $7 or $700 for it. It's going to have the same value and you're going to be ready to take the next step. So we want to reduce the risk. I definitely will charge higher over lower, but I have reduced the cost of my group program. So the cost of the program I'm going to tell you about at the end of this is $1,500 US. And I've got some payment plans and things like that. That's all group. So I'm prepared to do group stuff for that because when somebody signs up with me, if they spend $1,500 with me, the average spend of my clients is $70,000. That's the average spend of my clients. So I know that if somebody spends $7 and then they go on and they spend $1,500, they'll be with me off and on for the next 10 years. I know that because I produce results. And so I'm prepared to go a little lower and blow people's minds with the value because I'm playing the long game. And these days, post-lockdown, post all of that, people have been burned so many times. And they've invested in things that didn't get results. They've been sold things that were smoke and mirrors and they didn't get results. People are more risk averse because they've been burned. Like it's the Wild West out there. And so I've got to strike a balance between feeling like that's a good price and I feel like, yeah, I'm willing to do it for that price. I know there's going to be a return on investment, like it's a win-win for my clients to get to experience what working together with me for 6 weeks looks like, so that they can make a better decision. So my $1,500 programs are really part of my funnel at the end of the day. And if you want to work with me one-on-one, it's $15,000 US. That doesn't get discounted. That's just what the price is. And so I feel comfortable with that price 100%. And that feels like a really good, I feel valued at that price. I feel like I can get that back from my clients pretty quickly. So I don't have any problems around that type of pricing. So yeah, you've got to price yourself at a point where you feel like you're creating a win-win. If I charge $500 for this program, I would feel resentful because it's worth more than that. And so I don't care what anybody else is charging. I'm not looking at anybody else's prices. I've just got to get a feel for what feels like a really good price for me to create a win-win. I feel like I'm being valued. If people invest in that price, I also know it's going to lead to, at that price point, it leads to other higher ticket sales. And it's priced in a way that most people can afford it, especially with the payment plan. And then they'll get in there, they'll do the work, they'll start to get the results, and then they'll see the value in the higher ticket stuff. Yeah, it really is all within context. Absolutely. And never, ever, ever create a price because somebody else is charging a price or your industry standard is that price. We don't do that. We base our pricing on it. I base my pricing on the results that I produce. And whenever I put my price up, so when I put my price up from 10,000 to 15,000, it wasn't even a difficult decision for me, because it was like, okay, can I get an ROI of 15,000? And I knew I could. So that was the no-brainer for me. That's how I make my decision on pricing, if that's useful. All right. So the sales process, we're saying yes to the $7, we've got the upsell, and then we're building trust. So this is our sales process. We get the first yes, you know, we offer the upsell and they take it or they don't take it, and then we get to continue to build trust. So we nurture, we create a new offer, we nurture, we create a new offer. And it's a marathon, not a sprint. We get to play the long game. And I want you really thinking about, in the sales process, how do you like to sell? And it depends on the price point, right? If you've got a product that is $7, you're not going to get on a freaking Zoom call and make sure, you know, that the person's the right fit to do your $7 masterclass. You're not going to do that. So your preferred method for selling your $7 product is just going to be an automated ad campaign, right? If you're selling a $50,000 3-month coaching and strategy package, you're not going to be able to have a buy button. I'm going to come back to that. You're not going to have a buy button, just here, buy my $50,000 thing. Like, you know what I mean? The process has to be appropriate for the level of closeness you're going to be working with that person for, and the price point. Do you like to do calls? Do you prefer to do chat? I've sold, you know, the $110,000 product that I've got, I sold that through Messenger over chat with somebody I didn't have to get on a call for, because they'd been in my world for a little while, and they just said, oh, I'm ready to do that. I'm like, do you want to jump on a call? And they're like, I don't need to. Do you need to? I'm like, no, I know who you are. We're good to go. So yeah, it just, but you get to do it how you want to do it. And I was kind of avoiding doing calls at the time, and now I like them again. I don't always like to do calls. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Do you like to use scarcity? It's a thing. I don't really like it so much. Fast acting offers and bonuses. I made a decision that I'm not discounting anymore. There's no early bird price. I'm not discounting on the webinar, things like that. I offer bonuses, like fast acting incentive bonuses that are really, really valuable, because that feels more aligned to me. You might decide you're going to do half price if people sign within the next hour, or for the first 10, or whatever it is. You've got to feel into what feels like a really nice way to sell that you don't feel ashamed of, or you don't feel cringy about. Yeah. Okay, so I'm being asked, and I've got to scroll back to see what your actual name is, Kerry. Are you creating a new offer each month? Is an offer similar to a 4-week deep dive? Okay, I'm going to answer, but I'm not sure that I'm giving you the right answer for the question. But so I won't necessarily have a new offer every month, but about that. I find I'm tapped out selling something for 3 weeks, but that's not to say I'm not building the foundation. So I've been selling the Reach campaign, $7 masterclass. I was selling that for about a week or two, and then I moved into selling this, and I've got 3 weeks of selling something, and then I'm tapped out. But I'm laying the foundation before I get to the point where I'm selling it. The next thing that I sell, as I say, I'm going to run if you were on the call from the beginning, I'm going to run this masterclass thing as a free on-demand masterclass. I'm going to run those ads until Monday. Then my new campaign goes off. I'm still deciding on what it is that I'm going to be selling next, but that will kick off on Monday. And that cycle will be about a month. Yeah. So it is roughly about a month, the sales cycle, and it will be a new offer. But over time, I'm going to figure out which are the ones that I love, which are the ones that sell the best, which are the ones that deliver the best results. And they're the ones that I'm going to continue to run over and over again. You know, maybe once a year, maybe twice a year. I'm just still building out. I've got so many programs, and some that I want to bring back and others that I want to create from you. So yeah, I hope that answers. If it doesn't, let me know in the comments and I'll do a better job. Okay, so now we're going to have a look at your traffic campaign. If you learn this, you can print money, you can sell anything, right? And you can scale it to wherever you want to scale it to. But today we're going to focus on the traffic campaign. So what does the traffic campaign consist of? It's the targeting, like who. As I mentioned, I had 2 audiences that I was running this masterclass to, and they were about neck and neck, but one was getting more clicks than the other, so I turned one off, and then they started delivering really, really well. And then, as I said yesterday, I turned that audience back on and it just stopped everything. So we've got to know who we're targeting. We've got to test our audiences. And the first step in the strategy is doing that reach campaign so that we can see which audiences are engaging the most, so we can find your audience. We're testing that for just a few dollars a day. The next thing that we need to do is work out your ad copy. And so you're going to be talking about, you know, the problem that you solve. You're going to be talking about the solutions. You're going to get people thinking about the problem that they have and understanding that if they click on that button, they're going to get a solution to the problem that they have. And then the ad images, making sure that they are relevant to your people. So when I was running my Coach on Stage campaign, I was running a lot of, I wanted to be, this is when I was going through my rebellious stage, and I didn't want to be, you know, creating content and be the face. And I just wanted to test like a really masculine model. And so my ads were freaking ugly. They were just things like stock images of a guy in a blue suit with a microphone talking to an audience, and there were a lot of speaker type images, men and women, and it converted really well. But I was running those ads to my bigger speaker events, and I ended up with a lot of people that wanted to learn how to public speak, and that's not what Coach on Stage is about. It's about how to fill a room, develop a workshop, and then sell from stage. So it's not about being the world's best public speaker. It's about being an expert and talking about your framework. And so it was called Authority Speaker Model, but people just saw the images, and I was getting a lot of the wrong type of people. So I changed the imagery and the audience was completely different. So the ad images have to really be aligned. And then we do a thing called a dynamic creative. We test a dynamic creative campaign. In the comments, let me know if you've created a dynamic testing creative ad campaign before. Okay, so for those of you that don't know what dynamic testing is, the Meta Ads dashboard has come a long way. It takes a lot of the guesswork out of it. But if you, yeah, so Kerry, it's not, thank you for adding your name to it. It's not 3, you can have 10. So you create one campaign and you test up to 10 different images and videos, up to 5 different headlines, 5 different texts, you know, main text, 5 different call to action buttons. You get to test them all. So you set up that campaign with as many variables as you can get, and then you would set it up, and I would typically test 3 different audiences or 2 different audiences and run the same campaign and see which audience is doing better. And then I'm going to turn off the audiences that aren't as good. And then I'm going to look at, you're able to have a look at which headline are people liking the most, which images are they liking. You'll see some are getting reached, some aren't. And then what you can do is you then go and you create a campaign, a lead campaign, for example, based on the data that you've collected. But I run my dynamic testing ads and I leave them on that. I never go to the step of creating a campaign based on the best results, because I'm happy with my lead costs. They're super cheap. The quality of the leads is good. And I could maybe get my leads for $1 or $2 cheaper if I were to go and create a campaign. But there's so much profit in what I do that I'm not going to split hairs. I'd rather just run the dynamic creative and be happy with the lead cost than go and drill down and try to, you know, recreate it. I'm not saying I won't ever do that, but I value simplicity and my time more than trying to save $1 a lead. You know what I mean? Like, so you can do either of those things. But dynamic creative changes the game. You get to try and all these different things. Mine are all very similar. If I were to really test it properly, I would go 3 completely different graphics, 3 completely different images and really test that. And I probably will, but I get like what I'm doing is working well enough for me. I don't want to have to turn my life over to learning how to become the expert digital marketer to save every cent on leads. So you get to decide, is that the rabbit hole you want to go down? And you can do that. And it's actually not that difficult. For me, I'm just really happy with the results and I just keep it on dynamic creative. I don't even turn anything off. If I see the leads are coming in every day for what I'm spending and I'm happy, I don't even look at it. I want to keep it super simple. And this is what I want to teach you guys how to do so that you know that it can be as simple as that. You set up the ad campaign once, you test the different audiences, you turn off the audiences that aren't working, and then you just keep dialing it up. All right, so just to give you an idea of the content plan. So, you know, you've got your $7 masterclass, for example, and you want to sell it. So I was selling my reach campaign. You can go back and have a look at my, you know, content from a couple of weeks ago. You'll see it there. And so you're going to be talking pain points. You're going to be talking desires. So a pain point would be, are you, you know, sick of your content not being seen? Or are you sick of not filling your programs because you don't have enough eyes on your business? And the desires would be, how would it be if you just knew that when you woke up in the morning, you had leads coming in? You woke up to leads every single day. Or how would it be if instead of running around the internet trying to find clients, clients come and find you because you've got all of that automated? So you play around with those angles, and then you have your pure sales post. Hey, buy my reach campaign workshop. This is what it's going to do for you. All right. So again, the content should be complementing whatever your paid offer is. And so even if people go and, you know, I'm talking about the your roadmap to 500K right now, if they went and found some stuff on reach, it's not going to be out of whack, right? Even if they went and signed up for the reach course, it's still going to take them back to this. So it all works together. All right, cool. Got all my chat answered. Okay, so I want to give you an idea of like a monthly promo content plan. So if you can think ahead, yeah, that's, Kerry said, that's amazing. That's what I like to do, keep creating. Yeah, me too. All right, so this is an example of how I'm doing my content, right? And if you can plan ahead and be intentional about what you're selling and the content you're creating, it's going to go a long way. So for example, this is not this month, but just say the first week of July, it's like I'm selling my $7 offer and that I'm creating content to move people into that. So I'm going to be selling it on my socials and the ads are going to be running to it, right? Then I might have a $300 offer. Hey, come and buy this strategy call where I'm going to show you how to you know, build a reach campaign and we're going to blah, 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 right? So I could do that. I haven't done that, but I could if I had that and I wanted to sell that. I've gone from $7 to this one, which is my roadmap to 500K. I'm promoting it for this time. I could even go 3 weeks. And typically what I would do is say, hey, I've got, you know, a couple of spots open for my private mentoring. And that's when I would promote this while I am working on getting ready to jump into this again, if that makes sense. Yeah, I'm going to get to your question too, Waylon. So it's a really nice way to do content, right? Because there's purpose behind it. So many coaches or content creators or course builders and people like that, consultants, they feel like I've just got to show up and post every day. And you can, but that's not a sales strategy. And if you're winging it, like I don't plan out my content and write all the content, but I know what I'm talking about. It's like all week I'm talking about reach and buy my $7 masterclass. That's easy for me to create content around. I know all the different angles and I know all the reasons why people need reach and I know what it's going to do for them. So I get to talk about that for a week. I could talk about that for 2 weeks if I wanted to. And then as that's filling, that masterclass is filling and the upsell process is happening, then I can come out with, hey, your roadmap to 500K is starting in 2 weeks. Here's an early bird bonus if you want to sign up straight away, for example. And when we've got intentionality behind our content and when we've got purpose behind our content, it's so much more powerful. It's so much more powerful than just rocking up in the morning and saying, oh, what am I going to write about today? Because content without context is almost useless. It might give somebody a little dopamine hit if you're cheerleading them and, attaboy sort of thing, you're trying to cheer them up, but it's like, what are they going to do with that? So have purpose behind it. And it's not to say that I'm saying, hey, buy my offer, buy my offer, buy my offer. I'm not doing that. I'm saying, hey, how much does it suck when you're creating content, no one's seeing it? Hey, how would it feel if more people saw your content? Hey, doesn't it suck? And then you talk about that and then you're like, oh, if you've got this problem, let's fix it. Buy this masterclass, it's only $7. And for those of you that don't know how to sell or don't like selling, like you're going to get behind a $7 product and then you're going to be building your sales muscle. You're going to feel really comfortable selling. So by the time you come to selling the thing you want to actually sell, you're going to be warmed up and ready to go. You're going to be, you will have hit your stride. And because I've been doing this for such a long time now, I've got folders on my Facebook where if I'm selling, for example, launch a mastermind program, I've typed in the word mastermind or launch a mastermind and all of my posts for that come up. And so I just get to go and recycle a lot of that content for that particular launch. So some of you will already have all that too. Yeah, but we just want to make sure it's really purposeful, really tight. I love long form content, but because Instagram is my intentional kind of monetized platform, the one that I choose to focus on, I now write for Instagram, so that it fits in the Instagram thing. And then that's just what I share. So my days of long form content are kind of gone because I've adapted because this is the platform that I want to be on, if that makes sense. Yeah, all of those old posts, some of them I have to really break down because they are too long for Instagram. All right, so your roadmap to 500K looks like this. Your $7 offer, which is your lead, it's called a lead funnel. It's a sales funnel, like you're selling something, but a $7 offer is the new freebie, right? We're going to make sure that we do something like that. Then you've got your conversion, your sales process. So is it a masterclass? Is it a call? What is it? How are you moving people into the thing? You're pointing traffic at this so that it fills. So we get these leads coming through. We get more people going through the conversion. The content plan backs it up. It supports everything else. Do all of these things and you end up with your leads and sales. This is the path to freedom. And it's the strategic blueprint that most of you have been looking for to grow your business. If you're just, the amount of coaches that just say, just be consistent with your content, just show up, be consistent with your content. A lot of coaches out there being consistent with their content who are broke because there's no one reading it. There's nobody seeing their content. It's only going to be valuable to show up and share content if you have an audience and if it's going somewhere, right? The act of just showing up and sharing content and being consistent isn't what it used to be. It used to be enough. Now it's not enough. Now we need paid traffic because the organic route is almost non-existent. Meta has pushed it that way, right? It's made it more and more difficult. If you go back onto my personal profile, anything that is a promo, especially anything that's a promo with a link in it, 0 views. I post a meme or a photo, a selfie without any link or anything like that, and 100 people like it. So Meta is working to make it more and more difficult for organic reach to make its way through the newsfeed. And so That's okay. That's fine. We had it really good for a long time where we didn't have to pay for stuff, right? I was, I was there in the heyday where I didn't ever pay for ads. I didn't think I ever would have to pay for ads. And then when it changed and we had to start paying for ads, I just remember thinking, that's okay, I'll do it, because a lot of people won't. And it means that, people will see my stuff, because the people that are stubborn or too tight to invest in traffic, think about how long I've been in this game. So back in the day, my marketing used to be taking out a newspaper freaking quarter page and hope people saw it. And hoping enough of the right people saw it. Now I get to target the exact people that I want. And do I pay for it? Yeah. But it's like, who else gets to market for free? Nobody. So I think people have got to stop bitching about paying for marketing. Like, if you're running at it, like if you want to market your business, you've got to pay for it. It's as simple as that. So the sooner we come to the party with that and we realize, oh yeah, cool. Okay, so we're going to pay for it. Awesome. What's my budget for marketing? Ask any big organization, what's your budget for marketing? And they will tell you. Ask a coach, what's your budget for marketing? Oh, I don't have one. I'm just trying to grow with organic traffic. And I'm like, good luck with that. That's a reality, right? All right. So how do we make our campaigns super effective? Know your niche. You can be the sort of person that's like, I don't want a niche. That's fine. You don't have to. I just find it more effective. A niche is an inch wide, but it's miles deep. And the people that see your stuff are going to really resonate because you're speaking directly to them. When you're trying to speak to everybody, if you're a business / life / relationship / parenting coach, good luck. Like, be a specialist, know your niche, know how to speak to that person and their problems and their desires, and you will be successful. Know the problem that you solve for them. So the problem that I solve for coaches is I help them to make more sales, high ticket sales. I help them to be successful in business. How do I do it? Lots of different ways, but it's mostly marketing, sales, offer creation, content creation, and the strategy that pulls all that together with paid traffic. Know your audience and how to target them. And that's going to take some test and measure, and that's fine. It's not life or death that this happens tomorrow. Know how you want to position yourself and create your content accordingly. So, one of the comments that I get at my live events, which I really love, is people will say to me, you embody everything that you talk about, you embody your brand. Because I do, make an effort when I have live events and I do my hair and I wear my high heels, and people say I really embody that, and they expect me to be expensive and worth it. They don't expect me to be selling something for $27. They know that you're going to have those offers, but if you want to work with me at the highest level, people know that it's going to be an investment. If you want to work with me in one of my small group programs, it's not going to be $200. It's just not going to be that way. And so I think most people can tell that by looking at my content. They can see that it's at the higher end because I position myself that way. The other thing is, like, you've got to have offers that solve problems. All right. I was speaking to one of my clients today, and she was telling me about the conversation she was having with a potential client. She said, yeah, I was telling her all the things she gets, like the, hourly calls and the support. And I'm like, yeah, no, we don't sell the features, because every coach that ever sold a coaching program is going to give you an hour call a week and support. Like, that's not remarkable or redeeming. What is the benefit? Like, what are they going to get from that? So what is the problem that you're solving? What is the transformation you're creating? Like, that is the thing you're selling, not that you get 12 calls over 12 weeks, for example. Make sure that you have offers that solve problems, and you're talking about outcomes instead of the process. And make sure your content aligns with your offers, right? Don't talk about productivity if you're not a productivity coach. If you are a strategic marketing coach, why would you talk about productivity? It's just not relevant. So make sure that it's relevant, especially if you're selling something. Okay, I'm going to come back to Wayland's question. All right, so now I'm going to tell you about the roadmap to 500K. So I covered a lot, right? And it feels like it could be complicated and big. And if you're trying to do it on your own, like it really can be challenging. There can be a lot of things that make it easy for you to just bow out because like I can't get the audience right or the lead cost is too, there are so many things that can happen. And I did it too, right? I would start ads and I'm like, fuck it, it's not working. I'm not doing that. I'm going to try something else. And then when I just stopped that and just went, you know what? My priority is figuring this out. I'm a smart lady. I can figure this out. I'm prepared that it's going to take some testing and measuring, right? And as I said at the beginning, I can show you how to make money, like make a lot more money. But the catch is that you're going to have to probably learn some new skills. Kerry said, I feel consistency is not enough. I was thinking Facebook ads is the way to go. It absolutely is. It absolutely is. So over 6 weeks in the roadmap to 500K, we're going to build all of this out for you in real time. So it's not just theory. It's like the very first week of the program, I'm going to give you that reach campaign to implement. So it's going to be like, this is the first thing that you need to do this week, along with some other things. It'll be pulling your offers together. But the first thing is like, we need to get that reach campaign running so that by the time we start running your ads a couple of weeks in or 3 weeks in, that audience is already warm. So this is a system, right? And I know the system. I know how to take you from one step to the next and in the right sequence so that you get things done and it's orderly and you don't feel like you're overwhelmed or you're in over your head, right? There's a method to the madness and it's quite the system. Like it is a roadmap. And I talk you through each step. So over 6 weeks, we're going to build out this sales system from top to bottom, including the ad campaign. So your ads will be running. I'm going to be showing you how to run those ads. And the way the program is so we're going to take you through that. The outcome, because I love talking about outcomes, is you're going to have paid traffic campaigns running to reach so that you're constantly growing your audience. You're also going to have a lead campaign or a sales campaign or both of those things. Once you know the process, you can apply it to anything. So we're going to be doing that. But like from a structural perspective, the calls are at this time, which is why I ran this call at this time. Like the calls are going to be at this time every Thursday for 6 weeks. We have a Facebook group. You will have on Monday morning, you will get access to the content that I need you to go through because that's what you're going to be implementing that week. And then the live calls are on Thursday, where you get to bring your questions, where you're like, I've tried to set up the campaign and I can't get it to work. Like we troubleshoot all of that stuff, which is why I'm keeping this program quite small because, you know, if I need to look inside your ads dashboard and help you to figure it out, then that's what we do. All right. So it's very hands-on. It's very practical. And the outcome is you will have leads coming into your business and you'll be growing your reach every single day. You'll begin growing and warming your audience in week 1. So that's just the reality of it. It will happen that quickly. And then what I like to say to my clients is, well, you only have to do this for the first time once. And so we get to pull all of this together and it may be a steep learning curve for some of you, for others, not so much. It's more about the thinking and the strategy behind each of those steps, which is great, obviously. But it's going to be one of these things where you do it once for the first time, once, then you've got the system in place and then you get to work the system and then you get to scale it from there. I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to show you how to troubleshoot if an audience isn't working or whatever, right? I know what to look for to fix the problems for you and get it happening really quickly.